In the previous videos, we discussed about Spring Security and how to authenticate users using in-memory authentication and database-based authentication. As you have seen in the earlier two methods, user management is a tedious task and you have to waste a lot of resources into keeping your application secure. Fortunately, we don't need to get our hands dirty and reinvent the wheel. Rather, we can delegate this authentication and authorization to a third-party identity and access management provider like Okta. Okta provides an implementation of OAuth 2.0 and OpenID Connect, which makes it easy to add single sign-on feature into a Spring Boot application. A lot of jargons in one statement? Don't worry, we will go over it one by one. Single sign-on is an authentication method that enables users to securely authenticate with multiple applications and websites by using just one set of credentials. This prevents the need for the user to log in separately into different applications. OAuth 2.0 is the industry standard protocol for authorization. OAuth 2.0 authorization framework is a protocol that allows a user to grant a third-party website or application access to the user's protected resources without necessarily revealing their long-term credentials or even their identity. OAuth 2.0 authorization flow has the following roles: resource owner, resource server, client, and authorization server. Resource owner is the entity that can grant access to a protected resource. Typically, this is the end user. Resource server is the server hosting the protected resources you want to access. Client is the application requesting access to a protected resource on behalf of the resource owner. Authorization server is the server that authenticates the resource owner and issues access tokens after getting proper authorization. In our case, this would be Okta. OAuth introduces an authorization layer and separates the role of the client from that of the resource owner. In OAuth, the client requests access to resources controlled by the resource owner and hosted by the resource server. Instead of using the resource owner's credentials to access protected resources, the client obtains an access token. Access tokens are issued to third-party clients by an authorization server with the approval of the resource owner. Then the client uses the access token to access the protected resources hosted by the resource server. OpenID Connect or OIDC is a simple identity and authentication layer on top of the OAuth 2.0 protocol. It allows clients to verify the identity of the end user based on the authentication performed by the authorization server, as well as to obtain the basic profile information about the end user. Okta, with the help of OAuth 2.0 and OIDC protocols, provides the ability to link a user's digital identity across separate security domains. This is the authorization code flow provided by Okta. Here, the resource owner, which is us, the end user, tries to access the Spring Boot application, the resource server, which takes us to our Spring Boot application's login page. On your application's login page, you will have a button to sign in using Okta. The button hits the /authorize endpoint of your Okta server with information like client ID, redirect URI, to request authorization code. If you are not logged in already, you will be redirected to the Okta sign-in page, and once you submit your credentials in the Okta sign-in page, the browser will be redirected to the redirect URI with the authorization code. Now our Spring Boot application can exchange this auth code for access token and ID token. Our application hits the /token endpoint of Okta with information like client ID, client secret, auth code, and the response will contain the access token and ID token. The ID token is issued by the OpenID provider and contains information about the end user in the form of claims encoded in a secure JSON Web Token or JWT. The returned ID and access tokens are validated by our application and then grants access to the resource server, our Spring Boot application. In this whole process, our Spring Boot application does not handle the user credentials directly. Our application only deals with the auth code and tokens received from the auth provider Okta. Now that we have seen the authorization code flow, let's see how to implement this in our application. The application I am going to start with already has in-memory authentication and database-based authentication implemented in it. You can check out my previous videos to see how we built this entire application, but you can follow along even without that. From the existing application I am starting with, the important components that are relevant to implementing OAuth are the Spring Boot Starter Web and Spring Boot Starter Security dependency in the pom.xml, and the security config class which extends Web Security Configure Adapter. First step to implementing OAuth login with Okta is to sign up for a free developer account from developer.okta.com. Once the account is created, in the Okta developer dashboard, navigate to the application menu and click on Add Application and choose Web as the platform and click Next. I'll name the application Question Bank. Change the login redirect URI to http localhost:8080/login/OAuth2/code/okta instead of localhost 8080/authorization code/callback. You can keep the rest of the defaults same and click on Done. On the next page, we can see the client ID and client secret. Make a note of it, we will leave this later in our application. The login page we currently have is this with a form-based login. Open the security config class. This class extends web security configure adapter. We had already implemented the configure method with parameter HTTP security. This method defines a bunch of authorization rules. The paths starting with /category and /questions are allowed to be accessed only by a user who has role admin, and /API paths are permitted for all. Form login is also enabled. We will add the OAuth 2 configuration to this HTTP security object. To the existing object, add and OAuth 2 login and configure the login page for OAuth 2 login as /login. If the login path in OAuth 2 login is not defined, Spring Security will generate a default login page with a hyperlink to Okta's login page, overriding our custom form login page. In our application, we want both form login and single sign-on from our custom login page. Hence, we will provide the login page for OAuth 2 login as /login. In our pom.xml, add the latest version of Okta Springboard Starter dependency. In your application.properties, configure the following three properties: Okta OAuth 2 issuer, client ID, and client secret. You can get the client ID and client secret from the Okta OIDC application in the Okta Developer Console. The issuer is your authorization server URL, which you can get by navigating to authorization servers under API menu. Now in our custom login page, we need to add a sign in with Okta button, which should redirect to the Okta sign in page. This can be done by adding a hyperlink to the path /OAuth/authorization/Okta. So let's add this hyperlink styled as a button below the form login. Run the application. We can now see the sign in with Okta button below the login form in our custom login page. Do make sure to log out of your Okta developer account before clicking on this button, or open this application in incognito mode. Otherwise, you might not even be prompted for Okta login. Click on that button. Provide your credentials in the Okta login page and sign in. The request goes through the OAuth authorization code flow that we discussed earlier, and it finally redirects to our application's home page. We have now successfully implemented single sign-on for our application. But in the top right corner in the navbar, we can see the text logged in as with a random alphanumeric value. We ideally should have gotten the username from the logged in account. To understand this further, we need to know what all information our OAuth provider Okta sends to our application as claims in the identity token and access token. To inspect the OAuth user attributes from Okta, we can create the following request mapping method in our application. I am creating a request path /OAuth info handled by the OAuth user info method, which is annotated with a response body annotation. You can see that we are injecting OAuth 2 authorized client and OAuth 2 user objects into that method, which will be provided by Spring Security for our OAuth 2 user in runtime. We are using information from these injected objects to do a pretty print of the user attributes in a HTML format. Run the application. Now sign in using Okta. Since we are already logged in our Okta domain, we don't get the Okta sign in page. Instead, we are signed in directly as the Okta OAuth user. Now let's navigate to /OAuth info path. On this page, we are getting a lot of information like username, authorities granted to the user, client name, user attributes, etc. You can notice that the username is actually the ID of the user in the Okta OIDC application. To get the actual username, we can look at the field name under user attributes. User authorities attribute has the list of authorities granted to the user like role_user and a list of scopes. These values can be used for authorization, and based on this different user roles, access can be granted or denied to a set of resources. The scope OpenID is a scope unique to the OAuth user and will not be present for a user logged in using form login. We can use this in a Spring expression language condition with the help of TimeLeaf inside the login HTML's navbar to evaluate if a user logged in using Okta OAuth or not. If the user has authority scope OpenID, the user is an OAuth user and the TimeLeaf if condition evaluates to true. And we will use principal.fullname attribute from the Spring Security's authentication object. Otherwise, he is a user who logged in using the existing form login, and hence we can print his name using the name attribute in the authentication object. Run the application and sign in using Okta. We can see the username getting populated properly in the navbar. Now that we have implemented authentication, let's talk authorization using Okta. You can notice that the OAuth user has only view access and doesn't see the add, edit or delete buttons. This is because the default role for a user in Okta is user. In our previous videos, we had assigned different roles to different users who logged in using form login, and we restricted access to users with the role user and granted full access to users with the role admin. To implement the same in Okta, open up your Okta Developer Console. Under Users tab, select Groups, add a group, I'll name it role underscore admin so that it can be compatible with the application I have built till now, which also has form login. You can name it anything, but you need to handle the authority name accordingly in your application. I'll add my user to this group. Okta by default doesn't include the group's claim in the JSON Web Token. To include the group info in our user info response from Okta, under API menu, navigate to Authorization Servers, select the default authorization server, click on the Claims tab. You are going to instruct Okta to add the group's claim to both the access token and the ID token by creating two claim mappings. For first claim, provide name as groups, token type access token, value type groups, and for filter, select matches regex with the value .star. The second claim also will have the same set of values, except that the token type would be ID token. Now let's just log out of our application and sign in again with Okta. On the categories page, we can see the add, edit and delete buttons. That is, now the OAuth user has admin role privilege. Let's inspect the user attributes. You can notice a new field groups under user attributes with values everyone and role underscore admin. Spring automatically extracts the group's claim from the JWT and maps it to a Spring authority. Hence, you can see these two groups in the user attributes field as well. Since the user now has both role underscore user and role underscore admin authorities, he'll be able to add, edit and delete data. This concludes the series on Spring Boot and Spring Security. Do drop your queries or comments on the series below. Subscribe to this channel for more such tutorial content. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next video.